Looks like the stream is live on YouTube as well as on what is it called? Twitch. Everywhere it is live. Let me just edit the stream title. It is day 40. We are two-thirds of the way there. That is awesome. I have been studying a little bit offline. Not a little bit, I have been studying quite a bit offline, so that's a positive. The mouse, no, not the mouse. The mic is a little bit far from my mouth now. So hopefully I'm still audible. See, this is the confusing part. And on Twitch, I am not only just audible, might be crossing into the red range, but YouTube seems to enjoy that nearly 0 decibel sound. I I do have to edit the stream title. It has been, yeah, since there are 3 sites to do, I need to change the category as well. I don't know why it is in watch party. Um, I think IRL is probably the better category. IRL, maybe even, yeah, IRL is the right category, I believe, for streams like this. Uh, Actually forgot meanwhile that WDIL did follow the stream yesterday, so I should say thank you for that. They were returning. I hope the return went well. 12 hours ago, so they were on late at night, unfortunately. 2 days, 3 days, one day, 12 hours. Yeah, I should actually, what I should do is open social stream and get it working, hopefully. So the Twitch chat does load very quickly. Unfortunately, the Kick chat doesn't. See, this is how I get, it's only an error every time. But I can just delete the source because I will keep the window open separately. Remove source. Let me try it once from here. I should maybe pop out the Kick chat, pop out chat, and hopefully now it will work. May activate the source, say it work if it works. Unfortunately, no, it does not. So let me just close it and continue on as if nothing happened. Unfortunately, the government has been causing some issues when it comes to Kick. Or maybe I just don't know my settings very well. That's also a good possibility. Meanwhile, I'll just go and start up the, what is it called? Combined chat. Yes. I hope one day OBS itself will be able to do all these things. It would be very nice to just open OBS and the dock is on the front. Would be pretty cool. Don't know why they haven't been able to do that. It seems like something that would be right up their alley. If the software has been around for so many years, then this seems like one of the first things they would be able to do. But maybe since what is it called? This multi-streaming idea has not been around for so long, they haven't been able to work on that so much. So what I was planning to do today was a little bit more science and technology. I'll try to complete the class. It has been pending for a while. If I can complete this class today, then only I think one lecture would be remaining tomorrow. Yeah, I think 1.5 lecture would be remaining. All of this is done. This is done as well. Monkeypox. This is also done. This is done. This is done. This is done. Trans fats are done. Yeah, this is the funny part. People are always complaining about trans fats and such. But a couple of years ago, we were complaining about just your regular fats as well. Turns out they actually have uses in their body. So why not just stick to something that has worked for us for a couple of decades at least? Good traditional diets, not traditional in the sense from the industry times, but from pre-industrial times. Don't eat things that are excessively sweet or things like that. Don't actually know who Flight 23 White is. Oh, okay, that's just a random recommendation. Thought somehow I had followed this person, but no. Radiation therapy is done, vaccine is done, dengue vaccine, tag 3, CYTTDV, both are done. So the next thing I'm trying to do is Matrix M, I believe, R21 Matrix M. Yeah, it's a nearly 3 hour class, but just considering the background reading and such you have to do, it will cross over 4.5 hours or so. Let's see how much time I can spare today. Spare in the sense I am doing direct offline reading of polity. That seems to be more efficient than watching lectures. So, okay, let me just continue. Oh yeah, I just forgot to say good morning in the Twitch and YouTube chat. Just to check if the chat is working or not. Yes, it is working. Good, good. I think it should also show up. Yeah, the YouTube chat is also showing up. That's good. So for some reason, YouTube's first chat for YouTube does not show up. There is some kind of uh, error in the software they have built. But yeah, the Twitch dock definitely works very well. I definitely do wish there was a way to put a sound alert on chat in Kick. That way I would be able to listen to uh, any kind of chat that shows up basically. Identity, I don't know about identity. Uh, Chat appearance, timestamps, emote. Timestamps should be on. I would like to have timestamps. Seems good. Quick emojis, quick actions. Don't show quick actions. Font size is default. Then more actions. Matured mode, banned users, muted users. There are none. I don't have any muted users as such. I barely have users to mute. But yeah. Uh, Meanwhile, I will continue with what I'm actually supposed to be doing instead of playing around with the settings. Just let me get the pad and I will start. I think I should continue, but before actually doing the class, I should solve at least 10-15 questions. How many questions are there in this? There are a total of 122 questions. Okay, that's a bit much. I don't think I can solve them all in this instance. I think this was a very simple question just last year. Provisional President of Constituent Assembly was Chidanand Sinha, that I know. This is straight up given in the book. So the people they do ask are C. Rajagopalachari, B.R. Ambedkar, and T.T. Krishnamachari. C. Rajagopalachari was someone, I believe he was the, what is it called? The last, I believe he was the Viceroy. See, this is the thing with UPSC or exams like UPSC, you really have to pay attention to what other options they are setting up. Like C. Rajagopalachari obviously is an independent, important personality now. T.T. Krishnamachari is one. He was a T.T. Krishnamachari. I just read about him. He was a member of Constituent Assembly, drafting committee specifically. Dr. Sachidanand Sinha again as a temporary president. Anybody is curious why I'm looking down so much, I am trying to solve at least 10 questions. The goal is to do 25, but let's see. I think I'll just finish off PT 365 before doing any of this. I'm very close to finishing it, and it's just going to feel great. Okay, this question has been repeated many, many times by the people. This is what actually you need to pay attention to, because UPSC does have very specific things that they ask repeatedly. They do repeatedly ask this question, that constitutional government is by default limited government and such. Yeah, see, 2023, even that polity question was very, very easy. Like they asked whether drafting committee was set up on 26 November, but no, 26 November is the date. It is an extremely easy question. I don't know what they're even doing there. But one is true, but statement two is false. That's the answer. I do remember this very clearly. This is a date they can directly ask next time. Drafting committee is 26th August 1947. 15th August is our Independence Day, and drafting committee is on 29th of August. Samvidhan Divas celebrated 26th November every year. This is another thing they can ask, that Constitution Day is celebrated every year. Iyer, Iyengar, K. M. Munshi, S.M. Sadullah, S.N. Sadullah, TTK, and N.M. Rao. These are the 6 people. Again, 2021, they asked the same question. Best safeguard of liberty is separation of powers. Again, you have to be very careful here. Committed judiciary does not mean judiciary which is committed to the constitution. It means judiciary which is committed to the political leaders. So you really have to be very careful when solving questions like this. But that's fine. It's not even the point. There is these theoretical ideas like separation of powers and such is the best guarantee, a safeguard of liberty. B is definitely wrong. Centralization of powers is never safeguard of liberty. And elected government, again, elected governments can do a lot of wrong things. In fact, major wrong things might in recent years have been done by elected governments themselves. So you have to be very careful when answering questions like these. Just because a government is elected doesn't mean it will safeguard your liberty. The best option is separation of powers. When the powers are diffused, then they cannot take away your liberty. Mm, The 2021 question was, how is our model differ from that model? Yeah, the first question is correct. The first option is correct. Yes, the answer would be C. Answer is A. Apparently. This is a question that is a little bit confusing. Constitutional bench is just a bench with 5 people. It's not mandatory to give it to a constitutional bench. So you should know exactly what a constitutional bench is. That's the point. At least 5 people. It deals with the interpretation of constitution. Again, the same question has been repeated. This is the third time they have asked the same question. Constitutional government, while definition is limited government. So they have moved this question 3 different ways and asked it again and again. Constitutional government is limited. They have asked what the purpose of the constitution is, and they have asked again what a constitutional government is, what constitutional government means. They have gone into some technical understanding of liberty as well. That's impressive. Then they are very much emphasizing on this positive liberty and just liberty through state instead of liberty. In 2014, they have asked the same question. The exact same question has been asked 4 times in the last 10 years. The answer would be 2 only. Instrument of instructions content in the Government of Act 1935. I think this is a question that should have been, it should be used in DPSP as well. 1935 Act, Instrument of Instructions. But Irish Constitution is one from where we have picked up. I should also know that the Instrument of Instructions were issued to the Governor General by the British government. Yeah, this is another thing. They do keep asking about these things like who held which portfolio. I believe Rajendra Prasad was education minister. Or yeah, he was an education minister in the interim government, or food and agriculture was the answer. This is a good question. Interim government has had some different posts, and final government had some different posts. They also asked which post was held by Liaquat Khan. Interim or provisional government was formed in 1946, I believe. It was from the newly elected Constituent Assembly. They formed a government. It lasted till 15th August 1947. So 1946 to 1947, the interim government happened, and the president of the council was definitely the viceroy himself. I believe it was Lord Canning at the time. Uh, no, not Canning. Mountbatten was, I believe, the president of the interim. Uh, PD3 Diamond? No, I don't think I can do that. You would need an antivirus to do that. Unfortunately, cybersecurity isn't the field I'm an expert in. I will try to change the background. By the way, I do remember that you were unhappy about how the light background PDF looked. Yeah, you made an impression. What's up today? Anything new? Anything special? That is good, right? I am happy I'm being recommended to someone at least. Is this world's view of telling you that you should study as well, maybe? Want to gamble on what? I don't gamble, but if it's like a fun bet, I might do it. I actually have no idea what that means. I mean, the statement doesn't seem to make sense. If it's referring to something specific, then you'll have to explain it to me. 37th UPSC? There is only one UPSC. They don't reconstitute it every year. Is Rajesh the new name these days? Used to be Kiran. Rajesh is actually a pretty common name, so that's a good guess. You would have better luck with Raj probably because there is a whole generation of Indians that were named Raj. Okay. Person with 33, 32. Got the number wrong there. It is 33 million gods, but close enough. Approximately accurate. Since you brought that up, I should mention it is it might be a mistranslation because 32, the word after 32, 33 is Koti. But yeah, thank you for the good wishes. If I do show up in your, what is it called, feed, then do show up again. It's nice to talk to you. Yeah, I don't know if you are going to stay, but meanwhile, I will explain my whatever I was saying. The 33 million figure comes from the term 33 koti, and koti has actually two meanings. Koti either means type or koti means million. So some people argue that 33 is not meant to represent million gods, but 33 types of gods. Now, you might not find this interesting, but I thought that actually made some sense. That's the problem with old languages. There is always some translation errors, some confusion on what the people actually mean. Meanwhile, I'll just put this on the screen. That is just a cool picture. Vintage cool picture. Is Jawaharlal Nehru with the members of interim government. September 46 to 47 was the interim government. Yeah, okay. I think I'll just stop here and continue doing something else. Let's see. February 2025 is when I February complete, March complete, and almost April complete. Basically, only it takes at least 800 by 3. How much is that? Yeah. Seems like there is just some bot whose name is even difficult to pronounce. I'll just ignore the bot. If you're a person, then let me know. I think this 200 thing really works. Yeah, so meanwhile, I need to continue this vaccine thing. Yes, Anopheles mosquito is another one that causes problem. Anopheles female mosquito and Aedes aegypti female mosquito. These two are spreaders of this disease. One is malaria that is caused by Plasmodium vivax. Uh, Plasmodium, I keep forgetting what this is. I believe it's kind of a protista or something like that. But yeah, the point is this M21 matrix, R21 matrix vaccine is being produced by Indians and it is being exported somewhere. It has been developed by Oxford Institute, but it is being produced in India. Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium falciparum both cause malaria. That is something we can maybe remember. Avishur is another name that can be asked. It is India's first indigenous hepatitis A vaccine. Avishur. Hepatitis is an inflammation of liver. Can be caused by viruses as well as non-infectious agents. So if I had to remember something, I would just remember that this codon deoptimization is basically just a vaccine development technology. Okay. So it's amazing. I've just started studying and I already feel sleepy. Okay. Yeah, yeah, I am. The exam is at least 25 days still, and that is still the first stage. But what's up with you? I hope so too. What's new in Vietnam? In India, we might be going to war with Pakistan. Seems like things are escalating here. Yeah, that would be awesome. Someone actually following along the study session is possibly the best thing you can ask for on in initiatives like these. There are some study along sessions on YouTube as well. That's where I got the idea. But apparently they play music that supposedly helps your brain focus. I don't do anything like that so far. Yeah, there was a terrorist attack, and now we are thinking of cutting off the water. So Pakistan is saying they will respond with nuclear bombs if we cut off the water. Hopefully, things will settle down soon. Yeah, there has been one major attack. I think 30 people or so have lost their lives, but other than that, nothing much. The escalation has been mostly words and just a few standoffs and such. Indian feelings on Pakistan and Bangladesh complicated, but the general idea is Indians do not like Pakistan a lot. Bangladesh is more neutral. They do have a cricket team that plays with us, and that's about it. So Bangladesh is mostly ignored. Pakistan is disliked, but even Bangladesh has been in some negative news these days because of a lot of immigrants from Bangladesh are coming in and they are actually causing problems. They are not like peaceful immigrants. Yeah, it's actually a theory in international relations. The realist school says that even in India there is a very old thinker called as Chanakya who said the same thing. You see it among people as well, right? You don't, most people don't really get along well with their neighbor. You do have friends, but not so much your neighbors. But especially if you look at international politics, the idea is every country wants land. And since the two countries are beside each other, they would like to take the borderland for themselves, so they will always have issues. Yeah, India clashed with China, India clashed with Pakistan. Hopefully not. Actually, the problems have been more from China's side than India's, because if you look at China, they have border dispute with every single country that touches them. And they touch the most countries in the world. I think 14 or so countries they have, and all of them have border disputes. Yeah, yeah, they have been doing that for a while. And the funny part is most of the manufacturing of the world is done in China itself. So most maps are sourced from China. So they just get printed the same way everywhere. Actually, they have taken a part of India called as a China occupied Kashmir by us, or Aksai Chin. But they have built all the roads, infrastructure, everything is ready there. So it's difficult to even consider it Indian anymore. And even in a part of India that has been taken by Pakistan, they have just built, Chinese people have come there and built a huge road through it. Yeah, for better or worse, I would say better. Forgetting even the Chinese influence, the TikTok has not been good for the young generation. The Z in Gen Z apparently stands for zero attention span. No, no, I'm not. I think Gen Z is from 2000 onwards, right? When is does it start exactly? Yeah, I'm just before Gen Z, so I can safely make fun of Gen Z. But you're getting to that age. I'm assuming you're somewhere around, okay, 96. You have Gen Alpha or something that you can make fun of as well. That's the only part good thing about getting older. You can make fun of younger generations. Generally, I do think that not starting Gen Z from 2000 is a missed opportunity. You have like a whole 1,000 years that end there. Oh, we have to learn about every relevant international body. Let it be WHO, it can be UN, it can be something like ECOSOC or UNESCO, or even environmental international bodies like IPCC. Yeah, but the WHO notes are only on the screen. I'm currently studying economy. I just kept the notes on screen because just to have something for people to look at. Yeah, I think alpha generation still sounds okay. Beta generation, those people are just poor. You want to work at WHO or anything else? Oh, okay. An international organization. I think you can just start with some kind of volunteer work with them. I have a friend who works for UN. Maybe I could ask how he got in. I don't think there are specific qualifications or such or like exams that you have to pass to work for any of them. IMF may have some strict category, but others probably not. Something like UNESCO or ECOSOC sounds nice. Just go to different countries, celebrate their culture. You have a job and you also get to do a lot of fun things. Yeah, that's what the body is for, right? You just connect all the countries so their officials are allowed almost in any country you can go to. But their work itself is not all that taxing from what I have seen. That depends. If you want to feel productive, then you should read the school book. If you feel like relaxing, then go with the book that you like. Not really necessary that you don't like book from school. Once you are solving a lot of MCQs, you start finding if every question asked is a trick question or not. So what kind of school are you going for? Like, what subjects do you study and such? Oh, philosophy. So you study guys like Hegel and who else? Plato, Socrates, those people. Or is there some specific thinkers in Vietnam? Okay, but they don't teach you Mao, right? Okay. So in philosophy, you study like core philosophy or their political thoughts. Yeah, definitely not. There are bachelor degrees in basically all of the thinkers. School time will not be sufficient for it at all. I think having basic ideas of all these thinkers is just good for any student. No, I'm not saying you should avoid politics. I'm just asking which area they focus on. Philosophy major, political science, and socialism science. Sociology? Is that what you're saying, or is there a socialism science specifically? Yeah, I just thought you mixed up the two. But socialism science is the first time I have ever heard of that. Are you getting a lot of delay in the chat, by the way? Hmm. Well, for one, your English has been fine. I just thought you might be getting some delay because generally, if there is only one or two people in the chat, the which seems to add a bit of delay to the chat. It's just an observation. Welcome, Jason. And yeah, there are more than one person in the chat these days. Jason is used to having monopoly on the chat these days, but now he's having to share. I think it's supposed to be an extension of the cake thing. Yeah. Vietnam. I'll just save him the trouble of typing. Yep. So, Jason, are you staying up late or are you up very early? Which one is it for you? Nice. You're having sleep in installments. I did mention this on the YouTube video as well, but since I started running and working out and everything, I have been sleeping like a log, not at all waking up at night. And thankfully, that means I feel much better rested in the morning as well. Muscle gains, not so much. I barely started working out like a month or two. But the sleep thing is a very direct correlation, I think. When you're tired in the day, you feel you sleep much better at night. Yeah, I think I should do some kind of progress video in terms of just muscle gain as well. But once I start focusing on muscle gain, right now the goal is to complete that none to run thing. Yeah, I think that's the condition of everyone these days. Especially people who show up to the chat, most of them have problems sleeping. It has been better, mostly because people are just stopping by. It's not taking so much time. But anyway, I have studied offline today as well. The streaming and online portion I have reduced. The offline studying is just a lot faster. In terms of your sleep schedule or something else, me. Yeah, you have the leaderboard there. But either way, the thing is, when you're studying online, you're just watching some teacher deliver a lecture. That's not as exhausting, but it is slow. And if I'm talking, then I don't fall asleep during the lecture. Yeah, you definitely worked hard to gain that honor. Yeah, again, that's a common complaint. But I was thinking a lot of how school seems uh, so boring is because the way we teach ourselves, or even just the exam pressure. Because actually, if you start studying, a lot of things are very interesting. In school, I never really liked history or geography because there were a lot of facts. But when I just started reading history out of curiosity, then it became just fun. The funny part is a lot of people also sleep in offline class, especially if the teacher doesn't really care so much, then he will just continue teaching and people will sleep peacefully. But yeah, Jason, some people are also showing up on Kick Chat these days. One of them was also a streamer, and apparently he was running on treadmill while he was chatting. Yeah, definitely. That's a good idea. This is also a sleeping stream now. But you might have to mute me because sometimes I do talk in the middle. There are actually some people whose voice will just make you fall asleep. Especially some professors tend to have that kind of just the way they speak, their voice. If you get like a speech to text thing, we could have a whole conversation while you sleep, and I would never even know. And me, yes. Some school desks are very awful, but that's the benefit, I guess, if you're not falling asleep. So you get to study on it. No, that's a curious idea. How would a mummy? Okay, like quoting someone. Okay. I have done that before, just falling asleep during an online class and realizing you had a nice nap while the whole topic completed. I think in offline class, the best part is when the teacher is teaching and you zone out or fall asleep in the middle, and the teacher looks at you, so you just nod along. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense, definitely. Yeah, I forgot to shave day before yesterday. It's good. That's one contest I'm happy to win. But no, the whole thing is not from day before yesterday. It has been a couple of days before that. I just usually shave on weekends. Yeah, I think he's the coolest looking philosopher. He also has some very serious ideas in terms of his social organization and everything, really. From what I have heard, he was not a very big person. Yeah. Even his actual book is a very difficult read. At least it was for me. That's fine. It was not directed at us. I haven't watched this week's UFC. Yeah, I thought it was going to be someone useful. It's just some person offering loans. I would say hello, but didn't seem like they were all that interested. But spinning kicks, good idea, but very dangerous. If you have seen Luke Rockhold and Chris Weidman, famously the match was lost because of that spinning kick. I don't remember if it was a wheel kick or something specific. No, I have watched a lot of UFC. I'm not a particularly big fighter. That actually sounds like a very fun thing to do. Whichever direction the person's head is facing, you should start rambling about countries of that direction. I don't know if you keep up with UFC, but the current light heavyweight, no, the former light heavyweight champion has been going all over the world, sparring with people from different countries. He could actually give you geography facts as well while he beats you up. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of it around 2020 or so, 2021, but now it's just main cards. Actually, what they have been doing is they have been making too many cards to for people to keep up with, and most of the cards are empty. There is like one fight you're actually interested in. Earlier, the whole every main card used to be stacked. Not so much these days. But Jason, you have time. You can just continue your fighting practice whenever you can. Because you mentioned your age to me earlier. Yeah, Zabit is everybody's favorite fighter that retired. I'm still not happy with Yair Rodriguez for skipping that fight. Zabit and Yair would have been just a wonderful thing to watch. I have no time. That's probably why you haven't kept up with your fighting practice. Actually, at the rate we are going, considering just the speed, even 20 would be considered too late for most professions. I was just looking up things like chess and such. Oh, okay. What quiz is that? I don't actually know what that is. We don't have something called something with the same name here. Oh, nice. If you're already the expert, so getting the certificate should be easy for you, right? I think this whole sports science, sports medicine, or even sports nutrition are very interesting branches to study if you have time, extra time. There are definitely going to be some theories in that subject as well. It's not going to be all practical advice. You actually have to do things physically as well, or is that just a quiz? I'm asking because there is a similar course here as well. I don't know what the exact name is, but the people who actually pass the physical training course, they don't look like they have passed any kind of training. And I thought there should be like a physical certification for the trainers to pass as well. Not necessary that everybody who has good knowledge will be fit, but still it's just a good thing to have, right? You don't want your physical coach to look like Santa Claus or something. Yeah, something like that. No, in my case, our PE teachers were actually very fit. I'm just looking back and thinking that's impressive from their part. Yeah, I think UFC talk might have driven him out. Okay, he's still here. So did you pick your book, Mimi Mimi? Is it the school book or is it like a book you want to read? I'm assuming you need to go to sleep. So just sweet dreams. I have to. He's one of the two viewers, right? Me. Yes, yesterday's video, or probably not. I start videos with some kind of welcome or hello. At the beginning of the stream. Yeah, probably. I think it might have been just like a prayer or something that the people recite. I went to the temple yesterday, so it got stuck in my head. Thank you. Okay, good. And yeah, Tyranny of Merit is his latest book. Michael Sandel has written a lot of books. He actually has a free course on Harvard in Harvard's website. I think EDX he has a free course there on justice. Okay, sweet dreams, Jason. See you later. And no, I have not read Tyranny of Merit. I just saw his lecture on it once. It's on my reading list, but right now, not right. I have read his justice books and even parts of his older book like Liberalism and Limits of Justice. You forget where you had read last time? Probably at school, right? Or did you misspell something there? Oh, I understand what you mean now. Just up to what extent you had read the book. So hardcore regarding what? It's difficult to keep track of context when you're uh, looking at the chat as well as looking at the lecture. Yeah, I think Michael Sandel is uh, a very hardcore book in terms of politics as well as philosophy. You'd be reading something simpler. The funny part is we have been writing about politics and philosophy for the last 2000 years, and we are not even close to getting any answers. Yeah, definitely. For science, maths, there are always answers. Every theory is either true or untrue. But politics, you can just sit debating all day and have no output at the end. Whether it's politics, whether it's philosophy. Fortunately, I think that's something people need to do because politics and philosophy gives guidance to everything else that we do. So the STEM people who are generally considered the smarter people should actually be looking at all the, yeah, exactly. They have the power to control over people or everything you do in society is based on what philosophy the society is following. So the smart people need to pay attention to all these politics and philosophical topics as well. That's the weird part. When you actually talk to a lot of STEM people, uh, you realize how completely, let's just say, shallow their thinking is in terms of any of the social issues. And then they are very convinced on what they think being right. Yeah, that's true in a way because STEM people seem to think humanities are easier. They really are not. Because you actually don't know if what you're doing, saying is right or wrong. You just have to assume that you're making the right argument. I will give you the specific names and paper involved at some point. But if I remember correctly, one of the two scientists of STEM field, they just wrote up a completely bogus paper and sent it to a journal of these philosophy and let's just say political science journals, and they published it like it was something very awesome. Just because they had used a lot of complicated terminology and such, nobody really understood what they were saying, and the paper got published, and everyone was congratulating them and everything. And then they revealed that they were just kidding. Is there a thinker that you actually like, or do you just read them for the sake of your school? No, no, I'm asking in terms of general philosophers that you read. Do you like one of them, or do you just neutral? You just want to read and pass the exam? Yep. Personally, I have gone through phases of liking and disliking every thinker because they all seem to have some valid points, but then they say something that is completely weird. Exactly. Those are nice picks, especially Rousseau and uh, Nietzsche. These are both very interesting in terms of the way they think. The funniest part about Rousseau is he's always contradicting himself on every issue, but it all always makes sense. He's not exactly contradicting himself, he's actually just finding out that there are paradoxes in nature. That's more accurate. Yeah, a lot of things just seem to have no solution. If you look at Eastern philosophers, let's just say people like Buddha, they would just say that life is a contradiction and there is really no way to avoid pain. Yeah. I have heard a lot about Chinese philosophy as well, but African and South American philosophy I have never heard of. It makes me wonder if they have their own thinking. Out of African philosophy, I think we only had like one concept, that is Ubuntu. You have heard of that? It means I am because we are, or something like that. Yeah. Basically, the idea was a couple of Europeans went to Africa and uh, there were some kids playing there. So they asked the kids to run a race, and whoever wins the race will get some chocolate or something. But the kids just held their hands together and walked. And when they asked why didn't they race, the kids answer, "If one of us is not happy, then we cannot be happy." It's like all together. That's the concept. So African philosophy should have some interesting insights. We are not taught that. Anyway, Otaku, welcome to the stream. What's up? Yeah, we actually, there is a specific subject in political science regarding decolonization and such. People do argue whether it's worse than war, but not. So you can contribute to our discussion then. It's a very big break from maths. We are talking about just philosophy and history a bit. There was a point in school where I used to prefer maths to any other subject. I guess that's not true anymore. Once you fall out of habit, it just gets very annoying to deal with again. Yeah, but set theory is actually useful in the future as well. If you are attempting any kind of aptitude test, let's just say CAT and such, then you will use set theory. Other topics like differentiation or such are just useful for hardcore physics or just if you're specializing in maths. But set theory, probability, permutation, combination, these topics will remain with you for a long time. Even in UPSC aptitude exams, you have to solve sets and permutations, combinations. Function relation is another topic that just has a lot of uses. Hopefully not. Then you'll have different problems than solving maths for 3 hours. No, we are not going to war. Pakistan is saying that they will declare war. I think lot even our generation is excited for that. We were talking about Nietzsche earlier, right? He has a theory that even war is as important as peace for humanity because war allows people to grow, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I was opening the door, so I switched off the camera temporarily. It's back now. Pakistan is rotating themselves so much that our roast compared to them. I have been listening to all these jokes for the past couple of days. But yeah, philosophy-wise, at least from 21st century, all the philosophies regarding peace and how to establish peace. But if you look at any medieval or ancient or even some modern philosophers, there has been a lot of work that glorified war itself. That's something we can't even imagine because we grew up in this generation, right? Did you repeat the sentence? Because I see it twice now. Yeah, yeah. I thought the chat plugin glitched or something like that. See, because you are studying philosophy, I'm remembering a lot of concepts that I read in political science and such. There is this idea called as structuralism. It says that people are constrained by structures. It's well, structuralism is used in different contexts. I have to specify because you're actually studying philosophy for school. But it says that wars and such don't happen because of people. They happen because how the world is structured. Nietzsche, yeah, he does speak some very strange but sensible things. Like if you look at most of the Western philosophical thought, it is based on how to be happy and what exactly makes people happy, and or even what happiness is. But Nietzsche's works are saying that happiness is good, but suffering is what builds a person's character. When you go through some kind of troubles, then you are able to feel that you are strong, that you have overcome something. So it is as important as happiness to human life. So all these things, let's just say sadness, war, uh, some kind of suffering. He said that all of those would is what makes human beings better. Yeah, he's really weird. That's a very wide topic to think about. Yeah, probably. I think the question Nisha was asking is, what would happen to India specifically? Again, that's very broad because our association with Christians started somewhere 14th, 15th century, 15th century, I think. So if you look at it, by that time, India was under Islamic rule mostly. So either that would have continued, or if you recognize that Maratha Empire was ongoing, then we'd probably have Maratha Empire still. Or maybe we would have just split apart into smaller kingdoms, just considering the way they were organized at the time. You'd rather imagine about all regions don't exist? What? I can't understand that sentence. Yeah, meanwhile, I was talking about that suffering thing, right? His idea was he started with, yeah, philosophy would definitely be different because a lot of things we read today are from Christian myths and such. There is an anime based on what would happen to India in absence of Christianity, or is that just a specific, just a general historical anime? Okay. There is a subreddit called as alternate history. They do make all these scenarios very well. Haven't spent a lot of time in it, but yeah, but even without even in a world without Christianity, there would still be their own gods, right? Yeah, I was about to ask the anime's name as well. And philosophy in the East would definitely be more famous. It's going to become more famous as time passes anyway, because there are a lot of questions that Western philosophy doesn't really consider. Actually, I'm pretty confident in terms of Indian philosophy gaining more spotlight as time comes because it specifically deals with a lot of problems that people face these days because of this whole digital revolution and constantly being online and consumerism or whatever you want to call it. West has a very different way of looking at things than East. They really find the solutions of human life into material things. It's the whole idea of being rational, right? But I guess some questions might not have rational answers. Kamikatsu, okay. That actually sounds like an interesting thing to watch. Fortunately, Agoni's Wrath is not here yet. He would have joined you in talking about anime. I'm actually hoping he's asleep because his sleep schedule has not been good. He has been trying to sleep on time, had not worked for him, but recently he had been falling asleep. So hopefully that has continued into a kind of regular thing. Oh, you don't know him, right? Agonis Vrat is another viewer. He usually shows up around this time and chats, but we have been encouraging him to sleep instead of showing up to the stream. Your cortisol is at a point 5. I don't know how. It should be 3 or point 0.3. Sounds like low cortisol shouldn't be a problem, right? Okay, so you're way below the limit then. Yeah, usually I'm always in favor of getting good sleep. The funny part is I started the stream as a way to stay consistent in all of my schedules in exercise, studying, sleeping, and seems like some people are missing their sleep because of the stream. If you're talking to me specifically, no, it's not bedtime for me. It is nearly 2 p.m. So I have 8 hours to go for sleep. Yeah. The doctor told you to wake up early. Ask him how. He asked you to wake up at 1:45. Am I reading that right? Yeah, you were just mentioning the time, right? Yeah. I just mix up the two statements for some reason. But yeah, waking up early, going to sleep early, it's all the things that we have read since childhood that actually makes sense now. Since both of you are Gen Z, you can take some advice from the old man. Yeah, waking up between 5 to 7 is great. I have been waking up early these days and just the sleep feels good. Again, I'm definitely in favor of that 8 hour sleep. No, programming is not something we study at the moment. I really hope they don't start asking questions on programming now because we are already studying like 20 subjects. It would be awful if they added another. But yeah, since you're both talking about schedules, I will just show you what I do every day these days. Yeah, this is how I track everything. It is visible on the screen now, right? Let me just take the chat over here. This was the idea behind the 60-day challenge. I have just filled it every day before sleeping. That's why it looks organized. These blank spaces are they have been made on another laptop because my laptop was malfunctioning. I haven't really transferred them over here. Yeah, and the day 12 and such. But yeah, this is the idea. If you can just sleep on time, if you can work out, meditate, slowly your schedule is going to just fix itself. That's not, I'm actually trying to become one instead. You're watching Brooklyn 99. Nice. Enjoyed the early seasons of the show. But yeah, if you look at my YouTube channel, I make a video explaining each of these scores every day, and that has been helping me just keep track of everything and improve when I feel down. Like I was not studying properly in these days, so I worked on that. Then I fell down again like that. I have also watched Modern Family, so you can see why I need these schedules and such to keep track of my studies and everything. Because otherwise I get distracted and do things I don't that don't really contribute to my career and such. Right now I'm 30. I should have asked you to guess because I have guesses. People have guessed that I'm 20 and people have also guessed that I'm 57. So I should have asked you a guess and kept a note of where people rate me. I said 30, not 20. But yeah, people did guess that I was a Zoomer. Laughter. Yeah, I will do that. Several things I want to set up, like the scoreboard or whatever it is called, plus emotes. Yeah, you can use some basic ones, right? Like laughter and the kappa thing. Yeah, channel points, exactly. That's what I meant by scoreboards. I remember you mentioning that earlier. I will find out how to do that and get that done today. I think this exact same conversation last time we mentioned Discord. Discord has some excellent emote range. Unfortunately, they put a lot of it under Nitro. So, but yeah, I'll just close the what is it called? The Excel sheet. That's what has been working for me in terms of keeping a good schedule. So if I just could get good 7-8 hours of sleep, I'll put high score in that regard. Not so much as a timetable. I do have basic time slots like 9 to 12, then 1 to 5, then 6 to 7, these three slots. But I do take like breaks whenever I feel like it in the middle. Because at this point, most of my studies are done. I'm just revising, and it gets very irritating if you are just studying the same topics over and over. Oh, like that. Not anymore. I had that earlier, again, when I was trying to cover the syllabus. Now it's more, I actually have There is a program of daily quizzes that gives you the kind of things to study every day. They will give you a topic, you have to study that, and the next day there will be a quiz on it. So it automatically takes care of the study schedule. If you mean literally, then no, I do not cook. I can cook like basic dal rice if I'm starving or something, but that's it. One month alone, like it depends. If you mean a jungle or something, no, I would die. But if you mean like in a flat or something, yeah, I have lived alone. Like I have lived in a hostel, I have lived for internship, I have lived for work. So I have lived alone before, just but at those times we had like a tiffin delivered. We had a cook once because several of us were staying together, right? But yes, figuratively, we all cook. Speaking of cook, I should go and have lunch now. It's actually a lot later than my daily timing for lunch. Just got lost in economics and streaming. Yeah, that's actually very late for lunch. It's almost 2. I usually have lunch around 12:30 or so. Meanwhile, you can read your book and let me know whether you enjoy reading Michael Sandel or no. But I feel like if you are studying philosophy, then you should take up books which are not related to philosophy as a change. All right, then I'm going to close down the stream now. Uh, Not sure if I'll stream in the evening because I would rather study offline. Uh, so polity and economics revision is better done offline, so I might not stream in the evening. Meanwhile, if you have to, if you feel like talking about something, you can either join the next stream tomorrow, possibly even in the evening, or you can just message me on Discord, YouTube, wherever you feel like reaching out. All right, you have fun with your reading, and see you later on. Thanks for stopping by. It's nice to have a lively chat. See you tomorrow.